Hi guys, it's Kelly and I am back again with another video. Today I'm using some honeybee stamps. This is Celebration Box and Color Me Alpha. Now, very serendipitous moment because I knew I wanted this for my, stitch rectangles from Simon Says Stamp as well. But anyway, I knew I wanted this to be my like New Year's card to do like some 2018 balloons and something really fun, except I didn't get this video up yesterday. So happy New Year to you today. But before we get into like the actual card making, I just want to note honeybee stamps actually, like I said, very serendipitous because I'd already picked this set out. They're doing a like promotion in the store for Melissa's birthday. Melissa's the owner. Happy birthday, Melissa. Who basically, if you spend $36 in the store, you're getting this stamp set for free, the Celebration Box, which is totally adorable and I love it. And I think that you should rush right over there because it is only for January 1st. It was actually for the 31st, but like I said, I didn't get the video up. So my bad. Okay, moving on from that, we're making it's a little celebration box. Exactly what the title of the stamp set is, which is a $15 value, by the way, $14.99 value for free, just for buying their adorable stamps, which I love. But anywho, so I really wanted to put this tissue paper in the box. So I needed to do I didn't need to do some masking. I mean, I guess I could have fussy cut them out, but you know me, I'm doing masking. But the problem that I had was I did all the tissue paper stamping before I stamped the box because I want it to be inside. I just went about this the most difficult way possible. So don't do what I'm doing. Do what I tell you to do, not what I show you to do in this instance. So I'm stamping down all of the tissue paper, which you should at this point be doing everything that I am doing. I have the box masked, I have the tissue paper masked, so it will be in the box. What you don't do is this right here, which is I basically wanted to keep my masks in place, but I still needed to stamp the box. So I needed to only have part of it masked. This would have been way simpler to just ink up the box image and then wipe off the back lines instead of doing what I did, which is go in and basically cut them. It wasn't that it was, I guess it's not wrong or bad. It was just way more time consuming. And I kept having to go over it with like a really light pressure because I didn't want to cut my card. And it was completely unnecessary. Just wipe off the back line of your box when you stamp it. That would be super easy. So anywho, that is done. I am going to start stamping the balloons. I'm starting with the 4 larger round ones up front because this is going to hold my 2018, which I cannot even believe that it is already 2018, but here we are nonetheless. So I'm stamping out the balloons, and then the 2 on the right, I wanted to have 1 in between, so I am going to mask those. I can't remember if I used the Eclipse or the 3M Post-it note tape, but either one, they're kind of interchangeable for me. I use them both all the time. So stamping that down, and then I'm going to remove the masks and go back to the MISTI to stamp my numbers from this Color Me Alpha. My O is not centered, PPS, but it's all right because you know I'm not starting over. So stamping those down, and then things are going to basically I stamped these down and then I masked them, and then this is also the reason I didn't get the video up. I went and watched Outlander with my husband. So if you watched the last video and you were one of the people who suggested did you see me drop my stamp head there? Just dropped it right on my card. It was phenomenal. We're going to try to fix that later too. Moving on. Anyway, I went and watched Outlander. If you were one of the people who suggested those books, I've read them twice. I love them. You have great taste. I love that you guys are readers. We're going to take a side note. Megan, hi Megan, was the only person on the last video who kind of called me out on the little heart that I had on my wrist. And she was like, did you get a new tattoo or did I just never notice? Yes and no. The reason that it is yes and no is because it is a semi-permanent tattoo. So I don't have any real tattoos. My sister has many. I think that tattooing is a beautiful, beautiful art form. Side note, back to the card. They have this little piece of confetti, this little solid stamp confetti, in the stamp set, and I wanted to include that, but obviously I didn't want to stamp them all black. So I just picked out a couple of inks from Simon Says Stamp and stamped these down kind of just randomly in rainbow colors, because this is my first card for 2018 and I'm doing all the things I love, which is basically lots of glitter, rainbows, black and white, one layer. That makes me happy. All those things make me so happy. So anyway, doing that. I also did not pull out a blue, which is like blasphemy. I don't even know how I thought I was going to get away with not putting a blue on there. I love blue. So rather than just dig through my other inks, I had the Falling for Blue by W+9 just sitting on my desk, and I was like, perfect, putting that on there. I'm going to draw on the little balloon strings now. So anyway, my husband also does not have any tattoos. And we were... he was like kind of toying with the idea of maybe getting one, maybe not. So for Christmas, I bought him this thing called Inkbox. And basically what Inkbox is a semi-permanent tattoo. So you put it on, and it lasts anywhere between like 2 to 3 weeks. I put mine on Christmas. Side note, back to the card. I love how my card is the side note. Anyway, I wanted to add I knew the card or the box was going to be like kind of like blah. But I wanted it to be like all party on the inside. So I masked off the edges and stamped some stars on the inner envelope base. Are they inner envelope base? What are they? That's what I'm calling them. I don't think that's right. Flaps? I hate that word. Whoa, never say that word. Oh God. Moving on. So I'm going to add some shading because the envelopes, that's what I'm calling, that's not even right. I don't know why I'm referring to them as that, but it's better than the other word. Anyway, they are folded out. So I am going to shade them that way. So the lightest edge would be the edge that is pointing outward. So I'm just using a C1, C3, and a C5. I'm shading all of them just all over the whole thing because I'm going to color in the stars rainbow colors, not even worry about it. I'm going to do the box black. So anyway, back to this Inkbox business. So it is a semi-permanent tattoo, and I thought it would just be kind of fun to try them out. So I picked out a bunch of them. My family is notorious. Well, I shouldn't say my whole family, my sisters and I. Basically, I always bring something terrible for them to do. Like when makeup contouring first became a thing, I like bought all this contouring stuff, and I was like, we're doing our makeup. It's gonna be so fun. I don't know if it was really fun for them, but it was a ton of fun for me because I love makeup. But anyway, so I thought it would be something fun to do, and it was fun. Plus I knew like my nephews and my niece would totally be down. My niece unfortunately was not there. She was still in Buffalo with her other side of the family. But anywho, so the gist of it is you pay like 20-ish bucks and pick out a design, or you can draw your own design or have it custom have somebody draw something up and then order a custom one, which is super cool. But anyway, we just did the pre-made ones. And so I picked out like a bunch of masculine and feminine ones, and then just bought a whole bunch of them and took them I gave it to my husband for Christmas, the one that I thought he would like. And then I took all the rest of them to my mom and dad's house. And then basically the instructions are, I'm not explaining anything of this card. Bye-bye. Sorry. I'm shading to the left and the right. One of the sides has to be darker for it to have any sort of dimension. So I chose the side on the right, even though I shaded everything else as if the light source was on the right-hand side. So that was my bad, but I don't think anybody's going to notice. So anyway, you peel off this like adhesive, and it is some serious adhesive. It is not messing around. I started coloring in these numbers, and then I realized that they were going to be black and I would drag the color all over the place. So I just stopped at one layer and left it there. I have to explain how I colored this balloon, and then we're going to watch me color a bunch of balloons, and I'll be able to talk the whole time about stories. So I'm going to leave a little highlight on the right-hand side. If you forget the highlight when you're coloring a balloon, no, don't sweat it, because we can add it back in with a white gel pen, which I frequently do during this card. And so the base of the balloon is going to be the darkest part, but you're also going to have some darkness up around the edges. So I didn't take the darkest color as high as I did my mid-tone. but really just concentrated it more where it would be gathered. So then I'm going to blend that kind of back out and then go over it once with my lightest color, kind of leaving that little highlight there. And then that's the way that I am going to color all of them, exactly like that. But I want them to be transparent, so we'll talk about that when we get there. Anywho, tattoos. So basically you peel off the adhesive, you stick it onto wherever you want it to be. You dab the ink with this alcohol swab that they provide. It's like a kit, everything is in there. And so you dab it, the exposed ink with this alcohol swab. And then there's like a little washcloth that's included. And you leave it in the pack. You open like a corner of the packaging, and then you leave it in the package, put it in the microwave for like 15 seconds, and then take it out and press it on top of the ink. You press it on top of the ink for a firm like 30 seconds. And then after the 30 seconds, you still have to hold it on there with fairly good pressure for like 15 minutes. So we did them, both my sisters, I did one, my husband did two, both my sisters did one, my nephews did two, my dad even did one. So it was just kind of like a good fun. So it's like a little test run, and I think it is super cute. I don't know that I would get it permanently, but it's growing on me. So anyway, back to the card. I want these to be transparent, so you can see that I filled in that area with my lightest blue marker where the balloon would have stamped. So I just finished out that roundness of it. I'm not going to add the darkest shading to that part because you wouldn't see it. You would only see the darkest shading where the actual balloon is in the forefront. I did want it to be a little bit darker, so I did go over it a few times. I'm going to do the purple one next. And I'm going to go right over that blue that I drew in. But the way that Copics work, because they're transparent and you can layer them up, we're going to go back over it with the blue at the end. And it will kind of pop more forward. The other thing to note about the purple one is this one's actually 4 colors. And it's because I wanted the contrast of the VO9. But then I needed the VO6 to blend it out because it is a super dark color. So anyway, the tattoos were just kind of fun and playful, and I think it's like if you're interested in getting a tattoo because you can, have a custom one done, I think it's an awesome way to like literally try out your tattoo. Because before people used to say, have it drawn up, hang it on your refrigerator, look at it every day for 6 months, and at the end of 6 months, if you still love it, then, do you, boo. Go with it. But this allows you to actually wear it for, the 2 to 3 weeks. So I'll be interested to see how long it lasts. So far, mine is still super dark, and it's been a week. My sisters are both kind of coming off, but I think they're scrubbing them, and you're not supposed to scrub them. You're supposed to just like lightly wash the area with water, or you can even put Vaseline over it. So we're moving on to the smaller balloons. I'm going to color them the same way, but one of the things that I wanted to note here with this green one is my lightest color, which is a YG01. You can barely see it behind the yellow and the blue. So what I'm actually going to do is, instead of using my lightest color, I'm going to go back in with my mid-tone, which is the YG03, and just darken that up so you can really see that there is a green balloon behind there. So basically just kind of adapt for whatever colors you have in front. The other thing that you want to make sure not to do is don't put like a green balloon on top of a red balloon, because if you try to make them transparent, you're going to get brown, I promise. In the beginning, I had no intention of making anything pink, but once I got everything kind of colored and all of my rainbow colors were in there, I realized that I still had 3 balloons left, and it wasn't going to make good sense. Also, the pink behind the red, you can't see it at all. It doesn't show up at all. That's not a big deal. You can still kind of see the illusion of the line, which is sufficient to just like carry on the theme that they're all transparent. I colored in, I just picked like the brightest color of each rainbow combination to fill in these stars, and I totally love them. They remind me of Rainbow Bright. Hello, 80s children out there. In fact, when I was little, I loved Rainbow Bright so much. My mother, my poor mom, had to pack up all of the Rainbow Brights every time I went to spend the night at my grandmother's. And she actually has a picture of me laying in bed, tucked into bed with all of my Rainbow Brights, just sleeping right in a row next to me. I don't even know how I slept. Like, I must have slept like a statue, not to move all those little Rainbow Brights. But anyway, So for the numbers, because the balloons tend to be lighter at the top, I kind of wanted the same kind of gradient. So I'm putting the black, the 100 at the bottom, and then blending that into the C9, C7, and then the C5 at the top, which is the lightest, to, again, just, make it look like they're part of that balloon. So for the tissue paper, I am going to show you all of the tissue paper. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit because I want you to be able to see it, but it was kind of long. And I mean, this video is still 20 minutes long. So after I do the red one, which is going to be real time, then I'm going to speed them up. Basically, there's a whole lot of folds and bends going on in here. You just really want to concentrate on making sure you leave a highlight on that top edge and that you really put some contrast in the areas that are tucked in. That would be my best advice. So once I did the first layer on the red, I realized I super missed my darkest color, missed that contrast. So I did end up pulling out some of the darker colors for the color combinations. And that's part of the reason why I left all of this in, so you could see the colors as I brought them in, since I just kind of worked in rainbow order from left to right. So, how did I spend my New Year's Eve? I always go to my mom and dad's. It's just what I've always done. When I was living at home, I stayed home, and once I got married, my husband kind of knew the deal was I went back to my parents' house. When I was growing up, my mom and dad always made a effort to be home with us when it struck midnight, no matter what their plans were. And I appreciate that very much. So as I got older, I always made sure that I made an effort to do the same for them, that I was with them when the ball dropped. And we play games and, this is funny. We played this game. It's a new game for us, for my family. Normally we do like the cellophane ball thing, or we play Uno, or, whatever. So basically the deal is you buy 3 gifts. So it's 3 gifts per person. So me and my husband, I had to buy 6 gifts. And then you roll the die, and the dice tells you what you're going to do with your gift. Like you have to swap to the left or swap to the right. You can unwrap a gift or swap with any gift on the table. And you go until all the gifts are unwrapped. So my mother tells me, don't spend a lot of money. It's supposed to be a joke. That's what she tells me. So I'm like, sweet. So I go shopping. I buy a bunch of items that I bought, I guess some people like. I bought like these huge fuzzy slippers. I bought one of the little thermoses. I didn't spend a ton of money, but I also bought some things that were funny, okay? Like really funny and kind of inappropriate, but everybody's an adult. So then we sit down to play, and my mom's like, well, Graham, my 88-year-old grandmother, Graham Cracker, and my 4-year-old son are going to play as well. And I'm like, we should have had this conversation before I purchased these gifts, okay? But we didn't. So basically, thankfully, my sister, my mother, we were like team effort to keep the terrible gifts out of the way. So my sister, you start with your own gifts, and then like you start swapping from there. So the first one of my gifts that gets opened is my sister, I think it was Kim, opens, they have their male panty liners. I have never seen such a thing. And when I was in CVS, I was like, perfect. Like, it's supposed to be, I was looking for adult diapers, honestly. But I found this instead. And I was like, this is way better because I've never seen anything like this. So I bought those. So Kim opened those up. She laughed, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then I think, Michelle opened I'm calling them panty liners, boxer liners, brief liners. I don't know. And then, so Kimberly opened the laxatives, and then, they're swapping gifts around, and my sister goes to swap one of my gifts to my grandmother, and I'm like, get that back right now. And Kim's like, Michelle gave it to her, but thank the Lord, Grandma didn't roll anything where she had to unwrap it, because then it went back to my sister Kim, and then she unwrapped it. It was like personal lubricant. It's hysterical. It's supposed to be funny, but it was funny until my 88-year-old grandmother and my son were playing. So basically, we just hid them under the table the whole time, and they were like super cute with like their body washes and Epsom salts, and I was like, I feel like I missed the memo on what this game was supposed to be. But anyway, so I added some white highlights with my white gel pen, and then I'm outlining everything with my EK Success journaling pen because that's how I roll. We're gonna put tons of glitter on this thing. which is basically the clear wink of Stella all over all of it. And then I'm going to go in with some Stardust stickles, and I'm going to put a heavy coat of stickles on all of my little Rainbow Bright stars, and then I'm just going to kind of dot it around like as if the glitter was popping up with the balloons and the confetti and all of the tissue paper. I wasn't really, there was no forethought here because I still haven't built my card, so I probably shouldn't have put the stickles on first, but I did. Oh, also, you saw me sand off that little boo-boo that I had. That little mono sanding eraser is amazing because that totally worked. But I'm using some white fun foam, so I called it a one-layer card, but it needed a little bit of something. So I am going to pop it up on my card base just with some white fun foam. I was like being very gingerly about pressing it down. Once it was dry, I did like the stickles were dry, which didn't take long. I firmly pressed it down, and then that is the entire card. So don't forget, if you are watching on January 1st and you are interested in buying the stamp set, don't buy it. Go buy something else and get this one for free from Honeybee Stamps. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.